The precept as well as the practice of the primitive church was distinctly against matrimony.
Well, that's obviously the reason why the primitive church has not lasted up to the present day. It won't seem to realize, dear daughter, that by persistently remaining single, a man converts himself into a permanent public temptation, and that could lead weaker vessels astray.
But is a man not equally attractive when married?
Oh, no. No married man is ever attractive, except to his wife.
And often, I've been told, not even to her.
Well, that depends on the intellectual sympathies of the woman. Maturity can be depended on. Ripeness can be trusted. Young women are great.
Oh.
I spoke horticulturally. My metaphor was drawn from fruits, yes. Spring fruits, yeah. But, where's Cecily? Cecily?
Perhaps she's fallen asleep in school.
Oh, Mr. Worthing?
Mr. Worthing?
I expect you until Monday afternoon.
I have returned sooner than I expected. Dr. Chasuble, I assume you're well.
Mr. Worthing, I trust this garb of woe does not betoken some terrible calamity.
My brother.
More shameful death and extravagance?
Still leading his life of pleasure.
Dead.
Your brother, Earnest, dead.
Quite dead.
What a lesson for him. I think he will profit by it.
Mr. Worthing, you have my sincere condolence. You at least have consolation of knowing that you are always the most generous and forgiving of brothers.
Poor Earnest. He had many faults, but this is a sad, sad blow.
Very sad indeed. Were you with him at the end?
No, he died abroad in Paris. I've just received a telegram from the manager of the Grand Hotel.
Was the cause of death mentioned?
A severe chill, it seems.
As a man's soul, so let him reap.
Charity, my dear Miss Prism, charity. None of us are perfect. I myself am peculiarly susceptible to drugs. Will the burial take place here?
No, he seems to have expressed the desire to be buried in Paris.
In Paris? Mr. Worthing, I fear that hardly points to any serious state of mind at the last. You would no doubt help me make some slight allusion to this next Sunday. My sermon on the meaning of man in the wilderness can be adapted to almost any situation, joyful or in this case, distressful. I have delivered it at confirmations, harvest celebrations, christenings, on festival days and days of humiliation. The last time I delivered it was in the cathedral on behalf of the Society for the Prevention of Discontent amongst the upper orders. The bishop, who was present, was much struck by some of the analogies that I drew.
That reminds me, Dr. Chasuble, you mentioned christenings, I believe. You do know how to christen, don't you? I mean, you are continually christening, are you not?
Oh, I regret to say, it is one of his constant duties in this parish. I have often spoken to the poor cousins, but they don't seem to know what thrift is.
Certainly, Mr. Worthing. Is there any particular infant in whom you're interested? Your brother, he was unmarried, I believe, was he not?
Yes, he was.
People who live entirely for pleasure usually are.
But you misunderstand me, Dr. Chasuble. This christening is not for any child. You see, I'm particularly fond of children. No, I wish to be christened myself.
Mr. Worthing, you've been christened already.
I have no recollection of it.
But have you any grave doubts on the subject?
I certainly intend to have. However, if you think it's wrong, or perhaps I'm a little too old...
No, not at all. The sprinkling and indeed the immersion of adults is perfectly canonical practice. Immersion? You need have no apprehensions. Sprinkling is all is necessary, or I think it's advisable as weather is so changeable. What hour do you wish the ceremony performed?
Oh, I may trot around at about 5, if that would be okay.
Perfectly. I have a similar ceremony to perform at that time. A case of twins that occurred recently on one of the cottages on your estate. Poor Mr. Jenkins of Carter. Twins.
Oh, we don't see much fun in being christened with other children. So childish. Would 2:30? Admirably. But now, Mr. Worthing, I will not intrude any longer on a house of sorrow.
I just ask that you not be too bowed down by grief. What seem to us bitter trials are often blessings in disguise.
Well, this seems to me a blessing of an extremely obvious kind.
Oh, Uncle Jack, come back! Oh, Gladys, ew! What horrid clothes you've got on. Do you go change?
Cecily,
Oh, geez, Happy, you look as though you've got a toothache. What on earth's wrong with you? I've got such a surprise for you as well. Guess who's in the other room?
Who?
Your brother. He arrived about half an hour ago.
What?
Your brother Ernest.
I don't have a brother.
Oh, don't be like that, Uncle Jack. I know he's been a bad person, but, you know, he's a lovely man, really. There's good in everyone. Shall I just go get him for you? Yes, brilliant. Go.
These are very joyful.
after all having recited this clause, this sudden appearance seems to be particularly distressing.
Indeed.
My brother? In the dining room? I can't quite play this out. This seems particularly absurd.
Ta-da!
You.
Brother Joe, I have come all the way up from town to tell you that I am very sorry for all the trouble that I've caused you, and that I do intend to lead a much better life in the future.
Uncle Jack, you want me to shake your brother's hand?
Nothing would induce me to take it. I find his presence here utterly disgusting, and he knows very well why.
Oh, don't be like that. There's good in everybody. He's just been telling me about his poor invalid friend, Bunbury. He goes to visit so often. I mean, there must be some good in someone who leaves the pleasures of London to sit beside a bed of pain.
Oh, he's been talking to you about Bunbury, has he?
Oh, yes, and his terrible state of health.
Well, I won't have him talking to you about Bunbury or anything else for that matter.
All right. The faults are all on my side here, but come on, I have to say that your conduct towards me is a little cold. I expected something with a bit more enthusiasm, especially since this is the first time I've come.
Uncle Jack, if you do not shake your brother's hand, I will never forgive you.
Never forgive me?
Never, never, never.
Very well, but this is the last time I shall do so.
Is it not pleasant to see so perfect a reconciliation? I think we might be able to grow this together.
Cecily, you will come with us.
Wonderful. I think my little recollection task has gone very well.
It was a beautiful deed you did today.
We must not be premature in our judgments.
I'm very, very happy, you know.